Flavor Prime Energy Dream Pop, the flavor that'll make you cream in your dream.
Flavor that'll make you cream in your dream. Flavor that'll make you cream in your dream.
Do you remember when Prime was impossible to find anywhere? Stores were wiped clean, shelves empty like there'd been a flash mob raid. Cooler doors had limit signs slapped on them, and kids were showing off bottles like they just caught a shiny rare Pokemon card. Prime wasn't just a drink, it was status. And right in the middle of that frenzy stood Logan Paul and KSI, two creators who knew exactly how to turn attention into obsession. Back in 2022, influencer culture was running wild. TikTok wasn't just an app, it was the culture. YouTube beefs were spilling into real-life boxing rings, and fans weren't just watching their favorite creators, they were investing in them. So when Logan and KSI announced they were joining forces, nobody even cared what they were selling. Everyone just knew it would blow up.
Have created our own drink company. Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Hydration.
Prime hit the market as a so-called hydration drink, but let's be honest, no one cared about electrolytes or ingredients. This was about vibe. Those bottles were loud, colorful, and built like digital trophies, the kind of thing that screamed, "Look at me," every time someone held one up. The fonts popped, the colors clashed perfectly, and the packaging looked straight out of a Fortnite loot drop. Everything about Prime was designed to make noise, to make you feel like part of the trend. The Prime bottle wasn't just packaging, it was basically a YouTube thumbnail you could hold. Bright, bold, and screaming for attention, and that was no accident. Logan and KSI didn't market Prime like some boring sports drink, they sold it like merch, limited drops, exclusive access, and that you're lucky if you get one kind of energy.
These are the top 6 rarest Prime bottles in my collection, starting at number 6. These are the first Prime bottles off the production line. You tell by the expiration date. But I have to be honest, I accidentally got thirsty on a trip and drank all of them, so now they're basically worthless. Okay, number 5. The Prime X Glitch Prime and Signature Silver Prime X bottles. These are only redeemable in the Prime X Global Treasure Hunt happening right now. The only way to get them is by collecting points. You can scan the QR code on the side and redeem them on the...
Every launch felt like a secret club you had to fight your way into. Early drops vanished in seconds. Restocks weren't announced by press releases, they were teased through content, sneak peeks, and cryptic posts that sent fans scrambling. New flavors popped in and out of existence like Fortnite skins. Here one week, gone the next. Each new release triggered chaos. Kids rushing stores, parents calling around town, everyone in full-blown panic buy mode. The psychology was simple. When something's hard to get, people crave it more, especially young fans watching TikTok after TikTok telling them Prime was the ultimate must-have. Parents were driving across entire cities just to grab a single bottle. Some kids were flipping them for $20, $30, even $50 a pop. Hydration turned into a flex, not because of taste or performance, but because it was rare. And once something becomes a flex, logic gets thrown straight out the window.
So people in Britain have been going absolutely mental for this American sports drink called Prime. Stores can't keep it on the shelves, people are camping out before they open to try to get some, they're fighting over the deliveries as you can see. If you do get some, there's a limit on how many you can buy. People are even buying empty bottles so that they can post photos of themselves on social media with it.
Schools started banning Prime because it was causing such a frenzy, which of course only made it hotter. Logan and KSI didn't slow it down, they amped it up. Suddenly, Prime logos were everywhere. In the UFC, on Arsenal jerseys, in locker rooms, in arenas. It wasn't just influencer merch, Prime had officially crossed over into pop culture royalty. News outlets couldn't get enough. Prime had officially turned into a full-blown social phenomenon. Videos of kids scrapping in aisles over the last bottle were going viral everywhere. Shelves were being cleared in minutes, and from the outside, it looked like we were watching a billion-dollar empire come to life right before our eyes. But here's what most people didn't stop to ask. What was the hype actually built on? It wasn't loyalty, it wasn't even about taste or quality. The chaos came from manufactured scarcity. Prime wasn't rare because millions were begging for it, it was rare because the team made it rare. The limited drops, the secret restocks, the sold out again headlines, all of it was calculated. That artificial urgency had people hooked, until eventually the hype train starts running out of steam, because once supply catches up, the illusion cracks.
Logan Paul, the influencer turned businessman, was responding to accusations that his energy drink is unsafe for children.
But before that happened, Prime made one bold move that quietly set up the storm that followed, the launch of Prime Energy. Same flashy design, same wild colors, same internet-breaking vibe, but one big twist. 200 milligrams of caffeine per can. That's no hydration drink, that's an energy bomb. And that's when things started getting messy.
If you've been on YouTube lately, you might have noticed kids freaking out over Prime. Logan Paul, he's no stranger to controversy.
There's a new warning for parents and kids about energy drinks. Maybe you've seen Prime Energy on social media.
The drink is getting so much negative attention, schools are actually banning it.
Prime Energy looked identical to Prime Hydration. Same bottle shape, same logo, same shelf space. Kids didn't care about the fine print. All they saw was Prime. Suddenly, middle schoolers were chugging cans packed with adult-level caffeine like it was just flavored water. Schools caught on fast, and one after another, they started banning it.
Officials asking the FDA to investigate the energy drink Prime.
Are you guys targeting children?
That's such a heavy claim.
Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on the FDA to investigate the energy drink Prime.
Parents started freaking out fast. Doctors began warning that kids were drinking way more caffeine than they should be, and suddenly Prime was in the hot seat. Logan tried to calm things down, saying the energy drink was for adults, but that only made everyone ask the obvious question. If it's really for adults, then why does it look like it was made for kids? That's where Prime's double game started catching up to them. On one hand, they had a hydration drink plastered all over TikTok, loved by school kids. On the other, an energy drink with the exact same branding, colors, and hype tactics, just with a caffeine kick powerful enough for a grown athlete. It was a risky mix, and people started noticing. Regulators, lawyers, parents, everyone was watching now. Once hype turns into a health concern, everything changes.
It's like the most sugary drink that doesn't have sugar in it. Then you look at the sodium level, it's like 1,000 milligrams.
Even with the backlash growing, Prime still seemed untouchable. Shelves were finally stocked, sales were booming, and the brand's online presence was everywhere. But here's the catch. Prime wasn't built on loyalty or even flavor. It was built on momentum, and momentum doesn't last forever. Most people don't see it happening, not until the buzz dies down, the bottles stop flying off the shelves, and kids start chasing the next big trend TikTok tells them to love. That's when the real cracks start to show. Lawsuits started piling up, the hype started slipping, and sales, they didn't just slow down, they stumbled.
The problem here is that the product has so much caffeine in it that it puts Red Bull to shame. But unlike Red Bull, it is specifically targeted. The advertising campaign is targeted at kids under 18. I'm releasing a letter this morning asking the FDA to investigate Prime for, number one, its claims, number two, its marketing aimed at kids, and number three, its eye-popping caffeine content.
Then it all stopped. That billion-dollar frenzy flipped into a full-blown legal nightmare. This was the point where the story stopped being funny, where hype finally ran out of room to hide. For a long time, the chaos covered everything up, but once Prime stopped being impossible to find, people started asking questions they should have asked from day one.
Earlier this year, a weird string of rumors started floating around because someone sued us saying that Prime had forever chemicals, like more than you were supposed to drink in like a lifetime, whatever. I made a TikTok debunking it, but regardless, the rumor still got out there, and like low-key the damage is done. And now, even though we're in this lawsuit, whether it's true or not, people think it. And so the lawsuit got dismissed. The plaintiff does have a chance to amend it, but she's chosen not to. She's coming back with one really weak-ass claim that's probably also going to get dismissed. But it's just like an example of people reaching, trying to get attention, make a quick buck on a frivolous lawsuit that actually has no merit or is based in nothing, and we're not going to settle. Oh, the caffeine one, where plaintiffs said there was a crazy amount of caffeine that didn't meet what we said on our label in Prime Energy, which is 18 plus and has 200 milligrams of caffeine. That one also got dismissed.
What's actually in this stuff? Who's behind it? And what happens when those massive sales numbers don't match the flashy promises? That's when the cracks in Prime's shiny foundation started to show, and the first place people looked was taste. Because once the scarcity was gone, people actually drank it instead of just flexing it online. And the reviews? Brutal. Fans said it tasted like perfume, watered-down cough syrup, or melted candy mixed with chemicals. Once the novelty faded, the drink itself couldn't hold the hype anymore. And that's a problem, because real beverage empires aren't built on one-time buyers, they're built on repeat customers. If someone tries your drink once and never touches it again, you don't have a brand, you have a moment. And Prime was built on moments, viral ones. But it wasn't just the taste dragging it down, it was scale. Prime had locked itself into massive production deals, betting that demand would keep skyrocketing forever. Factories expanded, suppliers signed long-term contracts, warehouses filled to the brim with bottles waiting to be sold. But when that demand suddenly slowed, all that hype turned into heavy inventory and heavy losses. Everything about Prime was built on one wild assumption that the hype would never slow down. But then reality came crashing in, and it hit hard. One of the biggest blows came from Refresco, one of Prime's key manufacturing partners, who slapped them with a massive $67 million lawsuit. They claimed Prime had promised huge order volumes during the hype peak, then ghosted when sales started cooling off. That single lawsuit was worth more than Prime's entire yearly profit at the time, and it didn't stop there. Ingredient suppliers jumped in next, saying Prime owed them millions in unpaid invoices. Suddenly, behind all the flashy marketing, there were messy disputes over pricing, quality standards, and contracts signed when everyone thought the hype would last forever. Once demand dropped, all those deals turned into ticking bombs. But the business drama was just the beginning. Soon, the legal spotlight shifted from money to health. Parents began filing lawsuits, claiming their kids had experienced heart palpitations and anxiety after drinking Prime Energy, a product that packed adult-level caffeine in a can that looked like a kid's drink. Attorneys went straight for the branding, arguing that Prime's identical designs made it impossible for kids to tell the difference between Prime Hydration and Prime Energy. And honestly, they had a point. Same bottle shape, same bright colors, same loud logo. If you're 12 years old, you're not reading caffeine labels, you're reading vibes. And just when things couldn't get worse, they did. Prime got hit with claims involving PFAS, the so-called forever chemicals, allegedly found in some of its flavors. Whether those cases end up winning in court or not almost doesn't even matter, because once a brand tied to kids gets mentioned in the same sentence as words like toxic or chemical exposure, parents don't wait for the verdict, they just stop buying. Soon, regulators were circling like sharks. Politicians started sending letters demanding answers, and schools began banning Prime altogether. The same brand that once ruled youth culture had suddenly turned radioactive in the exact places that built its empire. And behind the scenes, something even scarier was happening. Sales weren't just dipping, they were flatlining. In the UK, Prime's revenue plummeted by nearly 70%. Year-over-year profits crashed over 90%. In the US, retailers began slashing prices just to clear out the stock. 12-packs that once sold at collector-level prices were now sitting dusty on clearance shelves, not because people hated Prime, but because they simply didn't care anymore. And that's the real killer for any brand: indifference. Hate still means people are talking, but indifference? That's silence, and silence kills momentum. TikTok stopped caring. The school flex culture moved on, and the resale market, once booming with insane markups, vanished almost overnight. Suddenly, Prime wasn't a movement anymore. It was just leftover hype from last year's trend cycle, fading faster than anyone expected. Meanwhile, the bills didn't go anywhere. Those massive factory contracts, staff costs, warehouses, and distribution deals were still burning cash every single day. This is exactly what happens when virality gets confused with stability. A viral hit spikes fast. It blows up timelines, sells out stores, but it doesn't guarantee that people will stick around. Prime had locked itself into expenses built for a future that never actually came. What's crazy is Prime technically didn't fail the old-school way. It didn't vanish overnight. It wasn't banned across the country. Regulators didn't come in and shut everything down. Instead, Prime started to bleed out, slowly, publicly, and expensively. The drink that once sold out in minutes was now struggling to clear shelves. That exclusive status symbol had turned into just another dusty bottle sitting next to forgotten energy drinks nobody asked for. Lawmakers and health officials were now calling for deeper investigations, and the brand that once ruled TikTok was being treated like a cautionary tale. And here's the hard truth: this collapse wasn't caused by one bad move. It was the result of everything being built on hype instead of heart.
Prime didn't invent a new category, it didn't deliver better flavor, it didn't build real trust with its audience. What it sold was momentum, and momentum always runs out. So now the real question hits. Was this fall inevitable from the start, or could Prime have survived if it had played the long game, if it had focused less on hype and more on substance? Because the truth most people miss is this: Prime didn't crumble because of the lawsuits, or the taste, or even the caffeine. It fell because hype burns bright, but it never lasts forever. Prime didn't crash because of bad luck. It crashed because it broke the #1 rule in branding. It never owned a category. And once you make that mistake, no amount of hype, clout, or viral videos can save you. The biggest beverage empires in the world didn't win by out-hyping everyone else. They won by owning their lane. Energy drinks didn't fight with sodas. Sports drinks didn't compete with juice. Each one carved out a lane, claimed it, and defended it with everything they had. But Prime? Prime did the exact opposite. It charged straight into one of the toughest, most crowded categories in the entire beverage game and tried to out-hype brands that had been dominating for decades.
The sports drink space is ruled by giants with deep trust, massive distribution networks, and real credibility. Prime didn't beat them on science, it didn't beat them on price, and it definitely didn't beat them on taste. Instead, it tried to win on attention. And attention works fast, but it doesn't last. Because online, attention is rented. In the real world, brand equity is owned. Prime's real product was never hydration, it was identity. Kids weren't buying it because it made them perform better, or because it tasted amazing. They were buying it because it meant something. It was a symbol. Holding that bottle told the world you were tapped into internet culture, YouTube drama, and TikTok trends. That kind of branding is powerful, but also paper thin, because identity shifts fast. And the moment Prime stopped being rare, that identity started slipping right through its fingers. Prime stopped being special. The second schools banned it, it lost that rebellious edge that made it cool. And the moment parents got scared, it stopped being socially acceptable. Once that identity cracked, there was nothing underneath to hold it up. That's why Prime couldn't pivot. It was trapped in its own image. It couldn't suddenly become a serious sports drink without losing the very crowd that made it famous. It couldn't keep marketing to kids without regulators stepping in. And it couldn't lean into adults without being laughed out of the room. Prime was stuck between worlds, too childish for athletes, too edgy for parents, and too generic to earn long-term loyalty. This is exactly what happens when a brand is built around personalities instead of principles. Because when the hype fades, the product has to stand on its own. And Prime never taught people why they needed it, only why they wanted it right now. That's why the downfall felt so sudden, even though it had been coming for a long time. The second store shelves stayed full, the illusion shattered. People stopped fighting over bottles, TikTok stopped caring, and kids quickly moved on to the next viral thing. Suddenly, Prime had to survive on repeat buyers, something it was never built for. Prime wasn't punished for being a bad product, it was punished for being temporary, and that's the sting, because it didn't have to end like this. If Prime had created its own lane, if hydration and energy had been clearly separated, it might have rewritten the entire playbook instead of becoming another cautionary tale of hype that burned too bright too fast. If adult products had stayed adult and not been wrapped in kid-style branding, if Prime had focused on taste, formula, and credibility instead of betting everything on hype, this story might have ended differently. But hype is addictive. When everything you drop sells out instantly, it feels permanent. When kids are trading bottles like collectibles, it feels permanent. When every headline screams billion-dollar brand, it feels like nothing can touch you. But business doesn't care about noise, it only cares about longevity. Right now, Prime technically still exists. You can still find it on shelves, still spot the logos at sporting events, still see the sponsorships. But culturally, it's already over. The flex turned into a meme. The status symbol turned into a clearance item. The must-have turned into a warning label. And that's the real lesson here. You can build a huge business on hype, but you can't keep one there. Prime didn't implode overnight. It slowly bled out as the internet's attention moved on to the next shiny trend. And that's exactly why the story matters, because influencer brands aren't slowing down. In fact, more are launching every month, and most are repeating the same mistake, confusing virality with value, attention with trust, and noise with real fundamentals. Prime proves one harsh truth: you can out-hype the market for a while, but you can't outrun reality. And when reality finally shows up, it doesn't care how many followers you have, how many viral videos get, or how many bottles you've sold. So what do you think? Was Prime always a ticking bomb, built on hype, ego, and internet fame? Or did Logan and KSI drop the ball in what could have been a legendary long-term brand? Maybe this was just the internet doing what it always does, moving on to the next thing. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the wild world of influencer brands. See you in the next one.